quarterback situation? And things still pretty much the same as they were when last spring?
Oh, yeah, we haven't named a starter yet. Zeke's probably going to get the first shot when the first huddle breaks, but he's not the starter, hasn't earned it yet. The guy that keeps surfacing all the time is Curtis Samuel, the true freshman from Brooklyn. And then you got Rod Smith, who's got all the talent. You just got to put it all together. Briante Dunn and Warren Balls. So a lot of competition. There has not been a hierarchy yet, but I anticipate midway through training camp we'll go ahead and announce the starter. Well, they're a little different than last year's back. Carlos was, you know, I think we're going to have to have somewhat of a rotation. You know, he was a 25, 20, sometimes 30 time a game you hand the ball to him. So we're going to have to be much more balanced than we've ever been. You might see us play two of those guys at one time. The other guy that can fit into the mix is Dontre Wilson. You know, I'm hoping that we got him now bulked up, probably about 15 pounds he's gained. And we want, he was recruited to be able to run inside and horizontal and do what we did with Harvin at Florida, but he was just so little. So he's getting much stronger, and I think it looks, just watching him train this year and seeing his measurables, I'm hoping he can do both now. We haven't spent much time about it. I'm over the top with leadership training and not just to our players but our coaching staff, and I have a firm belief that and I've felt this way for quite a while. It's not rocket science, but there's 9 units in a program, and for some reason 3 units weren't functioning at that capacity last year. So some options are you can teach the unit leaders how to become better leaders, and that's what we spent 5 weeks on, and then we've taken about 8 or 9 weeks and spent leadership training with the players. So we've put an incredible amount of time and resources into leadership training and how to develop these units, and I love what I see so far. So you don't, I'm not sure, at some point that'll be brought up, but to sit there and talk about losses, you just got to fix the issues.
I apologize for being ignorant, but I've heard you talk about the 9 units. What are the 9 units? How do you break down the 9?
Well, there's 9 position coaches. Each one has a unit. Corners, safeties, linebackers, D-line. There's 9 of them. Yeah. Some incredible articles have been written throughout history and really of late about small unit cohesions. One that I just recently read, and it's about the motivation of teams and groups of people, and it's really a militaristic model. The strongest units are the tightest. You don't say the army, you say the small units within the army. And the same thing with the football team. Football team's that's a lot of people. And to say that the third string right guard is going to be very close with the third string or backup free safety, that's a lot of people. But to say the linebacker unit room better be like this, it has to be. And they have to count on each other, and that's the model we're using. Absolutely. Yeah, each coach had 3 things that were mandated: a community service project, a unique experience, and something over their house, just to build up that trust within the unit. Good. Good. It's time. Yeah, he's reached the point in his career. It's time he's got to go play. You know, he's a great kid, good student, nice person, nice smile, and a big dude that can play. You know, it's time to step across the threshold and become a ball player. And I think he will, because he's had a really good summer. Oh, yes, yep. He had a car accident. He had a concussion for a minute. I was gone when it happened. He's full speed now. Had to take a little bit of time off, but he's full speed, ready to go. I really didn't. No one really, until I found out. It was fairly significant. But no, I talked to him afterwards. But like I said, I was out of town, and no one made me aware how serious it was. He's good. Well, I think it's not just myself, it's the fans, it's on the national level. I think it's great for the Big Ten to expand and open the doors to night football. All you got to do is walk in the stadium at noon and walk in one at 8 o'clock. And I didn't say get rid of, we're not saying get rid of it, but it's a great mix. And Ohio Stadium at 8 o'clock, we had 2 games last year. That's as good as an environment as I've ever seen. It was loud, the fireworks, the intensity. We played very well, so it made it even better. But I'm not sure. I guess it is a little bit of a new era, but I would imagine it's here to stay. A big what?
A big chip game.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
It will be. It's not now. It will be. If we take care of business, it could be real big. But we got some things in the way before we get there. So that if we do our job, it could be a real big game. Well, when I was at Ohio State back in the mid-'80s, and they beat us. They came into Ohio State and beat us. So Ohio State, there's a great rivalry already there. You got to be clear, though, there's one rival, and that'll never change. However, Wisconsin became a very big game, and then obviously this one's a huge game. And it's a credit to both schools that they're good programs. So, but there's one rival. I think we've recruited well, and we don't really look at that. And someone mentioned that we were picked to do this, picked to that. And people that know me, we're trying to have a really good training camp and worry about what's important.
You've been the hunted last season as well, and this season you're considered more the hunted. Does this season have a different feel? Maybe you have to kind of figure stuff?
No, once again we have put zero. There's zero conversation about that. So I think it's a good storyline. I think I'm going to have to decompress our players when they leave here, and we'll have a little chat about that. But I think we've trained our guys that where you're picked and all that. That's simply what the team did in the past, and Ohio State has great tradition. Other than that, we have a lot of players that haven't done much. That they have to get a lot better. I've never thought of that. You just said there's 5 leagues, 4 spots. Yeah, I never thought of that. That's a good point, but it doesn't change how we do our business, but I'm sure there is. That's the only area we have not been able to watch. We've been able to work with our guys this summer. He's in great shape. He feels good. All I can go by word of mouth, and we get our hands on him next Monday. But he says he's ready to go, and I trust him. It's our 3rd year together. Well, we got a very good coach, Larry Johnson. He walked into a very good unit. We absolutely have a little bit of depth in that unit as well. And so I just saw what I saw in the spring, last fall. Excited about what I'm hearing from our strength coach, and really talented guys. Well, I think they're a national player, and I don't know the history. I've always had great respect for Michigan State. When I was at Notre Dame, we played them a lot. That's a real stadium. That's real crowds. That's real football players, well coached. So I can speak what people think of them now. They're a national contender. I don't know. Yeah, I keep hearing about that. I don't know who he is or what he does or what that Twitter stuff is. I have one that someone helps me with it. She's, we can go on and on about it. She has a lot of fun. And she loves Ohio State, loves college football. And so I hear about it. I just, I don't really even when she tells me what it is or people, I still don't understand it. So I can't tell you what goes on. No, I'm 25 years of marriage. She can do what she wants to do. Yeah, we're good. True statement. I will always love the Gators. I love the athletic director. We're still very good friends. I wish them well. I hope they stay healthy. I follow them every week. Oh, sure. I don't know. I didn't follow them that close, but yeah, we start losing quarterbacks and players. Heck yeah. I think two areas, Bruce. It's number one is leadership. That position is I'm a little biased, but I think it's the most unique position in all of sport. And the introverted player that doesn't like to talk and all that, that's fine, but you'll never win a championship. You have to be a leader at that position. And he's really taken a hold of that thing. And the second thing is overall knowledge of not just what he does. The quarterback has to know what the 10 other players do. And we've had him do Gruden football camps. We've had people come in and speak to him, former general manager in the NFL. We've pulled out every possible stop to make sure that he's ready to go. And he embraced it. So anxious to see what he can do. I'm sorry. Tom Herman does a lot of it, and but I'm involved. I watch, and I think any young person is more. She can make him communicate, articulate, and that's what we've tried to do.
You can't talk about guys in particular, but we've had a pretty good summer recruiting-wise.
We had some big commitments, and we're very slow, methodical. I'm not a big fan of recruiting sophomores because sophomores change, and it's kind of forcing our hand and our coaches. I kind of keep, wait. I want to watch them play their junior year, and we start losing kids because they say you didn't offer me yet. So we're going to be more aggressive from here on out. I don't like that, but we hit a couple big ones, and then we have a much smaller class this year. In the past, we've had 25. It's only going to be about 15. So we got to be not many left. So I hate that. I want to go into January. I'd love to have 10 in January. But nowadays they don't let you do that. Think about that. You're not allowed to watch a kid play senior year now. But that's the kind of the business we're in.
So is that something that you just kind of gradually embrace?
Yeah. It's something you have to do to stay with it. And I'm not saying we're not full speed into, I heard the story about someone committed a quarterback as a young player and he got beat out. You're not playing anymore. And that's what happens. My son grew this much from sophomore to junior year. So, yeah, I don't like it at all. I have not heard anything about that since probably early spring. We have had conversations with Gene Smith, and we actually had a conversation with our team about it. To say I'm an expert and really understand what's going on and where it's headed, I have really no idea. I'm a player advocate. I think most people know that. If you come into our program and see what we do for these guys as far as life after football, as far as making sure there is help for after when they play, and Ohio State's that way. So nothing's really been addressed with the way we do our business. So had very little conversation about it. Well, Gene Smith thought it would be important because they might be getting contacted. And I had a meeting with them. I asked a few guys, like these three guys here, what is there something going on, and do I need to be aware of it? And the relationship is so close that there was nothing to it. So we moved on. Oh yeah, I think we're all full 4-year scholarships now. I think the 4-year scholarship, you can't just pull a scholarship from a player unless there's some issue, because they're allowed to have, what do you call it, like a meeting or What's that? Meet with a committee and something, because you have to lose it for a reason. So we've never been one of those programs that yank scholarships from players, so that's not been an issue.
Do you sense the recruits know that it's an option out there? Some schools are starting to promote it more than USC.
It's never been brought up. What's been brought up is the injury part. You know, if someone gets hurt, will you honor a commitment? Will you honor a scholarship? But that's all that's ever been brought up. Huge difference. It was awesome. We've had several meetings with our freshmen. We're able to work with our freshmen on the field. That's the biggest thing, is because freshmen get home, every one of them are homesick, every one of them. Even ones that say they're not, they are. And to be around coaches, to be able to go over the coach's home, for us to monitor their academics, yeah, it's been tremendous. I think we did it right. I was very concerned that they also need to not see us for a while, especially me. So we cut it loose for a couple weeks. We're just go be college students. So it's been a very good summer. We're going to find out. We're going to find out, and when training camp starts, and my goal with the staff is to have 9 units ready to go, not just athletically, because Coach Mick will hand me the team on Saturday, I think it is. No, Wednesday. We have Champions Dinner, and our coaches have been meeting with them all summer, so we want to have them ready to go, football ready too, which is the first time ever. Well, I'm not a big fun guy. I think the national champs are a lot of fun. That's fun to me. I mean, Disneyland and all that's cool too, but when playing for the titles, I think it's going to be interesting because you're going to have the semifinal is going to be every bit as intense because you have to get there. And then once you get there, I'm worried about, is it going to be fatigue? Because if you told us that the 2 championships we won, we beat Ohio State one year and beat Oklahoma, if they said now you got one more, I mean, I can't even imagine the fatigue on a player. So, and the fan and the coach. I mean, I hope we're part of it.
If you're in the playoff, do you think you scout all 3 teams going into the semis? How do you
I've thought about it just for a few minutes. You know, if we start getting to that, you know, that's not fair to my team to worry about that. So, no fun. It's all fun. That's not fun. Every coach's dream is to coach a hungry, angry team. I think every coach here would say that. Every coach's nightmare is to coach a complacent team, entitled team. And so there's certainly not that at Ohio State, even after a 24-game win streak. So in that respect, it's a positive. Obviously, it's a big negative losing those games, and you know, it's one of the first times we had to. I think it's the second time we've ever finished a season with a loss as a staff, and so it is different. And I don't want to experience it again, but it's going to happen. You just work your tail off not to let it happen too often.
Coach, what do you think Braxton Miller needs to do this year to position himself as one of the top quarterback prospects for the NFL draft?
We have to be very balanced. We gotta, you know, we've been very one-dimensional with him. He's certainly got the skill set. He's got the arm strength, and now I believe he has the knowledge. And so, and I believe his personnel around him is better. So those are the areas that he's got to utilize that.
You think it's a long way to go for him, or do you feel like
no, he's close? He's real close. I used to make a comment, you can't see the ceiling. You can see the ceiling with him now. I hope to this year. We'll find out. Yeah, he hasn't had much. takes it to the next level. You stay out of bad plays, and yeah. Cardell Jones is the backup. He earned it in spring. JT Barrett's behind him, and yep. That's what happened in spring. Great. I don't, Dennis, I don't look at that much. You know, we control what you can control. We didn't finish strong. I look at our players. Did they play hard in those 2 games? About as hard as I've ever seen a group play. And there was, you know, play 2 top 5 teams, and some stuff happened. You know, I'm more on a mission to fix what was wrong. What was wrong with our program was pass defense was awful. And so our focus has been on, if our team didn't play hard, then the focus would have been on play hard. But our pass defense, we completely blew it up. I mean, it's gone. Anything associated with that is completely changed, and it had to change. And so all our effort was in fixing issues. Like I said, if the issue is not play hard, then now that's a program issue. If there's one of the 9 units, or we had a few units not play at a high level, so fix those units, which we've addressed. I think you got to be careful during the season by drastic change. You know, I think when Christian Bryant went down, you know, we weren't ready for that. And I'm trying to do the best I can to force all units to make sure they are ready. And I think we do have, you know, you have some depth now that we got to keep recruiting depth. And I think we have some more than we've had. Now you got to stay healthy. He's full speed. Tyvis Powell had a little hernia surgery too. He's full speed. Yeah, they're ready to go. Eric Smith has looked really good. Marshawn Lattimore has looked really good. So we got some players. Only of the new guys, Pat Elfline, who started the championship game, and Taylor Decker, the only starters. But the other guys have had good summers. Jeremy, it's the first time I really heard that conversation. I really haven't looked at it. I know I would anticipate that the East will be one of the toughest divisions in college football. You just look at the recruiting that's gone on the last few years. You look at, you know, Michigan State goes out and wins the Rose Bowl. Our rivals traditionally a great team, and then you got Penn State's traditionally a great team, and then Maryland Rutgers. You got some very good, traditionally strong competition in that side of the conference. We're in a conversation right now. I think we are. I think so. I'm a little leery about, you know, at first I was, but I think that's kind of the wave right now. Yeah, I've never played in one of those. You know, the earliest we played when I was at Utah, played Texas A&M in one of those earlier games on Labor Day. But I know that's a big thing now. It never really was. I maybe should, but I'm very limited on my conversations about scheduling. When I was hired, I said I don't want to mess, you know, I got enough pass defense and punt team and all that. I love night games. For recruiting. Yeah. I think just for recruiting and for the Big Ten, I think it's awesome. I think it's great. I think just look at the numbers on viewership, and the big thing that I like it is recruits can get to your game. A noon game, if they're not from Cleveland or Cincinnati, you got a hard time getting them there. You know, people from other areas, they can't get to your game.
assess like first-year starting quarterbacks in college football? First-year starting quarterbacks in college football: Winston, Marshall, Zell. Go down the line here in recent years. Is the game evolving to a point where you can impact immediately? What's changed?
I think those are just exceptional players. No, I think it's even more complicated. Yeah, that's surprising to see that in my mind. I think those are just exceptional. You know, what Winston did at FSU and what Manziel. The Manziel redshirt? Yeah, so that's the one thing that Braxton didn't get the redshirt. He just got thrown in the fire. So that redshirt, whoever coached those kids really did a good job as a redshirt. Because it'd be hard as a true freshman to do that.
We're just on the first year starting. Like Nick Marshall is the national coach.
Yeah.
Some coaches are saying because of the spread offense, we're being simplified some. Every national
might be some validity to that. Maryland? I have watched them a little bit. Our staff has watched them, and we do a little pre-summer breakdown. Very athletic. You know, Diggs is one of the best players in the country, in my opinion. We recruited him too, and just traditionally, that area is just full of talent too. That Atlantic Seaboard. So, but we don't play them in the first few games. But we've watched them. Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely they can. And what you just said, Coach Etzel, if he said I don't know about their depth, but that's going to be in a league like that, and that's where, like when I was at Utah, could you play any one team at any time? Yeah. Can you go 5 games straight in a conference like the Big Ten? And so that's going to be the difference. If they have depth, there's no question they can. Yeah, big time. Yeah, that's the dilemma. We actually had our coaches retreat yesterday. The Navy preparation has begun already. It actually begun a while back, and then you get a perennial top 10 program like Virginia Tech coming right behind them. So that's a real struggle. You said the pitfall. That's real, because the amount of time you have to devote to their offense, returning quarterback. They're thinking the best quarterback they've ever had. A team that won 9 games, very talented team. They know how to play in big-time settings, not at home. Yeah, preparation is going to be key, and then you wake up the next day and you're playing Virginia Tech. Yep. You don't. I mean, that's. I'll not one time say don't go hard. You know, I think you have to be smart sometimes in certain situations, maybe to get down. But you know, John Simon, when we coached John, it wasn't, hey, slow down a little bit. You might, football is a tough, violent sport, and some people go really, really hard at it. Braxton is one of those players.
Is that kind of how you see it?
I don't need a headline, so yeah. Big, that's huge. And the people around him. If he doesn't have the confidence, and when we first got there, the leading receiver had 11 catches, I think. I mean, that's the struggle. Now you got, your H-backs are Dontre Wilson, Jalen Marshall, and we have some depth now. And your tight ends, you got 2, maybe 3 legitimate tight ends to throw to. So to me, I think the quarterback position is huge right now. Yeah, we've taken it to the nth degree. I went and spent 2 days with the Eagles myself, with Tom Herman, And I went for offense, but I also went for the way they do their sports science. They were the only team in the NFL not to have an IR player last year. Soft tissue issues, the concussion issues, all those are hydration related, and we're over the top. I mean, we have a whole new thing in place that we're going to start on Sunday.
2 more questions, Phil. 2 more questions.
What's that?
Progressing over development over the years, and you guys have expected big jumps, every year basically. You're in the program's huge, but do you think that some of the injury issues might have hindered his max potential? And how does what are the real expectations for him as a passer and as the leader of your team this final season?
I think he should be one of the top quarterbacks in America. We're going to do our best to keep him healthy and do the best we can to surround him with really good players. Other than that, injury concerns and all that, I mean, that's with any player, especially one that goes as hard as Braxton does. So we don't address that very much. We're just trying to do what we do. Yeah, he's made a nice progression. He was a below 50% passer, high 50s, 60s. We'd like to have him in the 70, around 70% completion rate.
You could potentially have last question. People that can take a little bit of load off him with very easy throws, the guys can turn a 3-yard pass.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
How important is that the arm rates and all facilities? We're going to get a chance to see him on Thursday.
Yeah, we have. I mean, that's the nicest locker room I've ever seen. The most important thing is for our current players. But you're right. I mean, every recruit looks at that, and we showcase it quite a bit. But the most important people in our program are players. And as hard as we grind them, we want them to have a nice place to do their stuff.